Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to Season 5.
Season 5?
Episode
Already?
1 of Icy Bad Movies. I almost said like I said bad movies. Bad movies.
Movies are never good.
No. But yeah, welcome everyone. Season 5, Episode 1. Emma, would you like to tell our dear listeners what our new season is going to focus on?
Yes, I really would. So, our new season is killer body parts.
Oh, yes.
I can't wait for.
Because, I'm hoping, like me, our listeners are thinking, oh, this film, oh, that film.
Yeah.
This has got a body part in it. This has got a body part.
I mean,
all films have got body parts in them,
yeah,
technically.
but not killer body parts.
But not killer body parts.
And we're not just talking about hands.
Oh.
Or, wielding a knife or something or a gun. We're talking about all kinds of different body parts.
Yeah, all kinds of different body parts are, taking on lives of their own in some instances.
Yeah.
And on that note as well, our first episode of our body part season is also, Emma, based upon the movie...
Body parts.
Yes. It's perfectly fitting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Now, I remember watching this film years and years and years ago when I was younger, obviously. Yep. But you've not seen it, have you?
I have never seen it, no.
Okay. Well, I have, and I really enjoyed it when I was a kid. And I'm pretty sure I've even seen it multiple times, but I can't remember all of it. There's some stuff that, when it happens, I'm going to be like, oh, yes. But then there'll be a lot that are blank.
Yeah.
But would you like to hear the synopsis?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay. So, I found the back of the DVD because the synopsis on IMDb actually wasn't much shorter than this, but here we go. So, a criminal psychologist who loses his arm and nearly his life in a grisly car accident undergoes a daring medical operation in which a donor's arm is successfully grafted onto his body. But after the operation, the arm starts to take on a violent life of its own. Ooh. So this has got Jeff Fahey in it as well.
Okay.
Do you remember the old movie Lawnmower Man? Do you not remember Lawnmower Man? It's a Stephen King movie.
Oh, Lawnmower Man, yeah. I have. I was like, no, I haven't. Oh,
Have you seen that movie Lawnmower Man? Go. What, Lawnmower Man? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have. Years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why I've temporarily forgot.
With the terrible, terrible virtual reality
Yes.
in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
But like I say, years. How old is that movie?
That's got to be... Oh... I would say 1992.
We don't need to guess. We've got Google at our fingertips.
We do?
We could just...
Oh, it was 1993.
Oh, okay.
So Body Parts came before Lawnmower Man by
Yep.
2 years. So Lawnmower Man is 93, Body Parts is 91. And we might see how far movies have come
Yeah.
in that time. Right, I'm looking forward to watching this movie, but
Me too.
shall we see if we're going to focus on the good or the bad?
Yeah.
All right, I'm really hoping I'm going to pick up this coin flip.
He dropped it.
Yeah, I definitely dropped it. What was it?
It is... Is that heads?
Is it saying no?
Oh, no, it says no on it.
No, that's bad.
That's bad, yeah.
That's the bad. So we're focusing on the bad. All right.
Okay.
And you're choosing?
Yes, it's my turn to choose.
I would say that I remembered that, but Emma's taken like
I've
notes.
started to write notes.
I
I'm
know.
actually organised.
It's amazing.
How crazy
Is
is
this
that?
all of them? We seem to have more cards than normal.
Have you been adding to them in your sleep?
No. Honest. Okay. So Emma, would you like to pick our categories for this evening?
Yeah. So I've got no idea if they'd be good categories or bad. Scene.
Scene.
That's normally a good one.
Okay. That one is getting a little bit dog-eared because it comes up a lot.
Yeah.
I might have to rewrite it.
Line.
Oh, line.
That could be
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Music.
Music.
Again, don't know because I haven't seen this one.
You never
so
know.
Hair and makeup.
Oh, interesting.
I haven't had that one for ages.
We
actually,
haven't
have
had it. Actually, I think we got it. Did we We actually got it during...
Oh, Ghost Rider did we have it for? Or no? Not.
I seem to remember talking about Nicolas Cage's hair in Ghost Rider, though.
Did we just talk about that because...
Because it was also a bit
awful.
funky.
It was awful.
Oh, we've got one more card to go.
Casting.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
But as always, we might throw a wild card in there if there's nothing to talk about.
True.
In one of the categories.
True. I am intrigued about some of this because there's a scene that I know I think is going to be on the flip side already.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I know it's going to be in a good scene. But it also, because of the ridiculousness of it, it might end up on this episode. So I can imagine if you're sitting here and you've seen Body Parts before, and you're listening to this now, you might be thinking of the same scene that I'm thinking of. Maybe. Right, Emma, should we go and watch this film?
Let's do it.
Well, we've just watched Body Parts.
We have indeed. Yeah.
Strange film.
Very strange and very slow to get started. But
Yeah.
then we did get some action towards the end, but it was a slow start.
By the end, it was very tense. Wasn't it?
And hilarious.
Yes, and also hilarious. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yeah. So, shall we talk about what happens in this film?
Yes.
Because, I know we've said it starts really slow, and it does start slow. We're introduced to Jeff Fahey's character, who is called Bill. It's a strange name, Crushank.
Yeah.
It's if your name is Crushank, apologies. It's spelt strange, and when I was reading his name, I was thinking, how the hell is this pronounced? Is it Trushrank? Or anyway, I just thought, you know what? I won't say anything. I'll just see how they pronounce it in the film.
Yeah.
And they've spelt it in such a strange way when they could have. And this is what I don't get. This is a strange gripe. I know, it's a really strange gripe. No one is ever going to see the name written down.
Yeah. So
why spell it in a weird way?
Yeah.
You're only going to say it in the movie, so why, when you're writing the cast
list, it could
list,
be called anything, couldn't it?
Yeah, it could be called anything.
So just call him Bill Smith.
Yeah, yeah.
For ease.
So that strange thing passed, right? But we're introduced to Bill, who's a criminal psychologist. The introduction we have for him is he's interviewing a guy who's on death row.
Yes.
As well. And he's trying to... He's just stabbed someone as well.
Yes.
But I didn't think people on death row were mixed with other inmates.
No, I didn't think... Well, I'm only going by TV.
Yeah.
Because I've never been in prison, but... well, nothing that I admit to. So, and we don't have death row over here, do we? We don't.
No.
I
think the last.
I'm only going by American movies and TV shows.
The Green Mile.
They're separated.
Yeah, and it's almost like solitary, but they're in a death row block.
Yeah.
But
just separate from the other.
Separate from the others, but that's a strange. Yeah, maybe other death row people. Do they interact and have time?
They do get told. They don't know, like, when they go into prison, but they get told so many days in advance of when they're being executed, don't they?
Yes. Yeah, like they get
to have their last meal and all of that.
Yeah, they'll get a date given to them, but it's not like it's not when they're sentenced.
When they have
it's
to
like,
be there a few years.
On this day, you will have. You know, I heard, right, it costs something like $250,000 a year to keep someone on death row.
So why, if they're going to be killed eventually?
My argument is, right, why even have a death row? I mean, in America, where this is set, right, you can have sentences. I can't remember the exact word for it, but is it conjoined? So
you can have consecutive life
sentences. That's right.
So you say you've killed 5 people, you can have 5 back-to-back life sentence.
Exactly.
So you never get out of prison,
but in the UK, it's not consecutive.
No.
It's whatever the other word for is.
Yeah.
Concurrent. They run concurrently. That's it.
It's stupid, isn't it?
So yeah, but I mean, I also get it. It's like, well, you know, you're in prison 5 times. What's the point? Then you end up with someone like Charles Manson being sentenced to something like 280 years in prison.
Well, basically, you're never getting out of prison. They should just say that, shouldn't they? You're in prison for life.
You're in prison for life, and that's what it means.
But what I don't get is, I don't know if it's the same in America, but if you get sentenced, say, 12 years over here, you're likely to only do 6, aren't you, for good behaviour? Well, you haven't been good. Sheer fact you're in prison. You've done something horrendous to be put in prison.
But
maybe not horrendous, but you've done something
what
bad
prison reform is all about. Because prison is great at reforming. There's nothing better than putting a criminal
people never come out and reoffend,
into a melting pot of other criminals.
Yeah, where they can make connections.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are lots of good work that goes on in some prisons to help people rehabilitate.
But the trouble is,
some
people do a very short sentence, come straight back out and reoffend because that's the life they know.
Yeah, do you know
they don't come out and get a career, do they?
There was a mad thing that I heard as well, that when prisoners were being released from a prison, I can't remember if it was a UK or a US prison, but they were being released on a Friday night going into the weekend. So there was nothing for them no services open for them, nothing for them to do. So what are they going to do?
They're just going to do what they know, aren't they?
And I think that is the problem. It must have been America, but that's again, I think because prisons are in the US are monetized. Like it's slave labor. You get them working on you'll get inmates working for an absolute pittance.
But don't they do that over here as well?
But they're doing like factory work and things like that.
Don't they do jobs in UK prisons? I know people learn trades and stuff. But
they
do actual jobs.
I think they do stuff around the prisons and that, but I don't know if there's actual there's not what's the one you always see in American shows, them doing license plates.
Yeah.
You know, but there's nothing like that in the UK. I don't think
there should be though, because we should put them to use. Really, you've committed a crime.
Yeah.
You've been locked up. Yeah. Let's get work out of them.
Let's have enforced slave labour.
No, not slave labour, but
but they pay them. If you're making people work, pay them minimum wage, pay them a proper living wage. But then
get them working, give them a trade, give them something they can do.
Give them something to learn,
give them some work experience, and when they come out, they can go
money.
Get a job doing
money
that.
They can get behind themselves if you're paying them a fair wage. But in the US, they're not paid a fair wage. They are paid an absolute pittance to do all that work, and so it's effectively a slave
I guess
labour.
you can kind of argue that it's kind of like community service though. So it's like you've done something bad and harmful. You can give back by doing some work and putting back into the community.
Yeah.
So I guess that's their thinking.
Yeah, I think the thinking is actually slave labour.
Yeah.
How can we make people work for the absolute cheapest possible, but they've got no choice. Yeah. You know? Yeah, they have no choice at all. Anyway, Body Parts the movie.
Yes. That's all.
Do you know what, Emma? Service. I think we just solved prison reform.
I think we did.
Yeah. Good job. I think that deserves a break.
Anyway.
We'll be back next episode. Now, funnily enough, so this inmate, he stabbed someone up, and he gives this kind of speech to Bill about how can you fix me? What can you actually do to fix me?
Yeah.
And this gives Bill a bit of a existential crisis, I think, because I'm no psychologist. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that's an argument that's said a lot to psychologists. What can you do to fix me?
Yeah. Probably.
You know? And I'm sure there's probably an answer to that. But whoever wrote this script isn't a psychologist either.
No.
And literally, this guy's just going off on this tirade at Bill, and he's just sitting there looking at him like, oh shit, you're right. There's actually nothing I can do to help you.
No.
So much so that he then goes home to his family that night and is saying to his wife, I just don't think I'm helping anyone. I just for once, I'd like to cure someone. Just once.
Yeah. Bless him.
He's a pretty shit criminal psychologist, I think.
It would seem that way.
The events of the movie, I think, are actually the best thing that could happen to his psychology career.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, it wasn't all bad. It improved his career.
He's trying to write a book.
Yeah.
As well. He's trying to write a book. And, I mean, whatever it was, he reads what he just wrote as well to his wife, who I think is living the greatest life in the world. I pointed out to you, yeah, they were both all ready for bed, lying back in bed. She's got a glass of wine on the side table.
Oh, yeah, that's true,
Oh.
yeah. They have got 2 kids, so I understand the glass of wine at bedtime. Yeah, the kids might have been more of the reason why.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point.
She's living this great luxurious lifestyle, but she needs the wine.
Yeah. Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
He reads out what he's written to her, and it's babble, you know. And she says to him, "Oh, that sounds really good." And what does he do?
Yeah.
He just grabs it, throws it away. He's like, "Nah, it was rubbish."
Yeah.
Oh, Bill, get over yourself, mate.
I know.
Honestly.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are? What's that from? Oh, who do you think you are? Oh, that's going to really bug me.
Yeah.
Because it's a quote. Oh. Anyway, no, I then started thinking, you know that, you really are the most devious bastard in all New York City.
What's that from?
Oh, that's Matt Berry from
Oh, was it?
What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it. It was a meme. Oh, talking of memes.
Yeah.
I did a meme today at the. So I went. We're recording this that gap between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
Okay. And I took the kids to spend some of their Christmas money in Blue Water. Blue Water's a great big shopping mall.
Yeah.
Or mall, as we would pronounce it in the UK. Anyway, the girls were upstairs in Boots with some smellies, and I took the boys downstairs to Boots to get some drinks for us all, some soft drinks, some cold drinks. And I said to the girls, "We'll meet you upstairs."
Yeah.
So we're going up the escalator, and as the girls are coming down the escalator to us, and we both just kind of look at each other as we're going past each other. And have you ever seen The Umbrella Academy?
No.
Oh, there's a bit in it where 2 of the characters drive past each other and they're like, "What are you doing here?"
Oh, I've got a story like that. So
Go on.
this was years and years ago. I went out with my brother-in-law and my sister, and we were up in Essex, where he's from.
Okay.
Essex, London. I can't remember where he was living at the time.
They're quite close.
We were going out, a group of us, and he had a stepbrother. Mm-hmm. Well, he's still got a stepbrother. I don't know why I said he had a stepbrother.
Actually, there's a whole other conversation.
And his stepbrother had said, they'd had a conversation, and he'd said, "We'll come and pick you up in the taxi, be ready at this time."
Yeah.
And his stepbrother gone, yeah, okay. As we're putting into his clothes, he's driving out in his car. And we're like, "That's him." So luckily he saw us and stopped and went and parked the car up, and we were like, "What are you doing?" "We told you we were going to pick you up in a taxi." And he just hadn't listened at all and was just
amazing.
driving to meet us. We were like, "What are you doing?"
Amazing.
So yeah, that was one of those moments where you're like, "What? Why are you going that way? Where are you going?" Yeah. So it happens.
It does. It happens. It happens more often than you know. So we have this little familial scene. Okay, we have this little familial scene. We wake up the next morning, and it's the typical family breakfast room scene, isn't it?
Yeah,
the
2
dad's
or 4
going to work.
children. Yeah.
And I don't understand this, right? He picks up a coffee, or he's handed a coffee by.
He's handed a mug of coffee.
Yeah.
A mug, not a
big old mug.
Not a travel mug, an actual mug.
Mug. And he's saying goodbye to the kids. He kisses the girl goodbye. He kind of pats the older son on the head.
Smack him on the head.
Yeah, it's a real sort of whack. And it's all ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
And they're having a lovely time. He just gets in the car with a mug of coffee.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Who does that? Who gets in the car with a mug of coffee? I mean,
My sister did it once by mistake with a cup of tea, but that was a mistake. She just forgot she had it in her hand and got in the car and went, oh, let's go put my mug back in the house.
But he carried on to work.
This was deliberate, yeah.
This was deliberate. This looked like something that happens on the reg.
Yeah.
And I don't get it.
And off he goes. This might explain why he wasn't concentrating on the road.
Oh no, but the thing is, he was concentrating on the road.
It was somebody else, wasn't
it? So he's driving along, and he's on the phone. No, his dictaphone. He's talking into his dictaphone. That's it. Because I was thinking, who's on the phone nowadays?
Well, this was
in 1991. Yeah, exactly. I know there were car phones at that time, but I don't. I don't think he's that successful a criminal psychologist. That he's a yuppie criminal psychologist with a car phone. But so he's talking in this dictaphone, and it was he spots this car in front of him with a really wobbly wheel.
Yeah.
And he's talking in the dictaphone, and he's so distracted talking to the dictaphone, he keeps repeating himself.
Yeah, he doesn't. But
and he keeps
sees
eyeing this wheel.
He doesn't slow down or hold back. Like, I would probably hold back a bit and think, if that comes off, it's going to be an accident. So I'll just stay out of the way.
If it was safe to do so, I'd try and pass.
Yeah.
Or you're right, you just drop back and you think, let's leave a little bit of a distance. It doesn't, of course, because he's too busy.
But he just stays very close to it, doesn't it? So it's like, if that car crashes, you're right in the way.
Ultimately, this wheel comes flying off this car, and it starts swerving around.
But he manages to swerve, doesn't he, as well, and get behind it. And
exactly, absolutely. So this car stops, and he stops behind it because it's just stopped.
Yeah.
And he thinks, oh, phew. But in the rearview mirror, there is just a great big semi coming up and smashing into him. Now,
the accident's really fun. Sorry, but
No, go on.
Funny, but
no.
But the way they film this, so the truck just comes up behind him and it just doesn't stop. I mean, it must have seen. The driver must have seen that cars have stopped ahead, but it just ploughs right into the back.
Yeah.
But as it ploughs into the back of the car, you just see him just kind of shoot out the front.
Shoot out the front window.
Almost like a kid's toy where it's like, I don't know, like a Nerf gun
but
or something.
it's a weird thing because he's kind of, the car's kind of concertinaed. So as he's shot out the front window, he goes up into the air.
Well, I thought it was a bit of a delay, wasn't there? Kind of the car gets crushed and then he comes.
Yeah, there was. Yeah. It was I think that was an editing thing. It was just a bit.
Yeah, it just looked a bit like.
Yeah.
That was too late for him to be shot out of the car, and then he just comes shooting out.
And then... It was like.
Do we see his
do you know when you watch a cannonball? No, we don't see his injuries at the time.
We see him when he's taken.
Yeah, we see him when he's in the hospital. It was like, you ever see anyone fire out of a cannonball?
Yeah.
It was like that. It was like. Whee!
Yeah. But what I'm sure we see, so it's either when the paramedics get there or they wheel him into hospital, we see the injury.
When they take him into the operating theatre, we see the
the operating theatre.
Oh, I know. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting to this. This is so strange. This, but yeah. So I said to you at the time, the stunt guy, was nearly killed.
Yeah. So
because he was ejected out. Apparently, I think it was something like 50 feet into the air.
Wow.
30 to 50 feet into the air, and because there was no harness apparently, just like let's just fire you out a car.
Yeah, that's safe.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
But thankfully, not injured in the slightest, and they used that scene. So just like you said, just like Ghost Rider.
Yeah, Ghost Rider. There was a really awful stunt gone wrong in that where he it looked like he broke his neck, didn't it?
Which does make me think it must be like a badge of honour to be like, I survived that. That's the shot you should use.
I must admit, if I'd actually had an accident, I think as a stunt person, I think I'd be like, well, use that because it looks real because it was real.
Yeah, because it was real.
Actually had an accident, so. Yeah. And what's the point of going through that and then not even using the footage? I guess
it would be interesting to hear from stunt.
Yeah. Stunt person.
Stunt person. Yeah. Stunt coordinator or whatever to find out if.
And is that agreed beforehand?
It is something.
Is it like? Do you have an agreement in place, a contract where you say, if I'm injured during filming, you can still use it? Or do they have to ask them if it does happen, get them to sign something else to say, we can use the footage?
That's it.
Or
is there a waiver, or is it like, just a common decency thing to say to them, look, it was a great shot.
I wonder if they have to just ask them, or if that does happen, or if it's actually written into contracts, because it has happened in the past where they write it into a contract and say, if you're injured during filming, we can still use.
Do you know that's another reason I don't like Tom Cruise?
Because
he does his own stunts.
Yeah.
And I can't help it every time.
Well.
Every time I see a star doing their own stunts, I also just think they could have been. This is a great big Hollywood blockbuster. They could be paying a stunt guy instead of you, Tom.
I think Tom Cruise does it so he can brag about the fact he does his own stunts. That's all I think it is.
It is 100%. Because it was Danny Trejo. You know the Danny Trejo, the Mexican fella, Machete. He was the uncle in Spy Kids.
Oh, okay. I have seen Spy Kids.
I think he said the exact same thing. Look, I don't do my own stunts because, like, there's a trained professional who could be getting paid for this. Yeah. You know why? You know, it's like with Neil Breen doing all his own catering. There are paid professionals that he could be paying to do this.
Tins of tuna.
You know. I think, you ever see that TV show, Wicked Tuna?
No.
It's on Discovery or something like that. It's just all these boats that go out to catch tuna.
Oh, okay.
My dad watches it, like, he's probably seen every episode about 10 times because he just has it on in the background. And I know, he doesn't even fish for tuna. I don't think you can fish for tuna in the UK anyway. They're more like Atlantic, aren't they?
Yeah.
But, like, he watches that a lot. And I actually think Neil Breen kept the tuna industry afloat.
Yeah.
If you'll pardon the pun.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, he has this accident.
He has this accident, and we just see him being wheeled into hospital. We don't see the scene of the accident, do we?
Well, we don't see the after of the accident. We literally cuts to a hospital, and his wife is there. Is he
already laying there in the operating theatre?
No, he's not already laying there. His wife is in the theatre, is in the hospital in like the waiting area. We see several police come walking past her with a body on a gurney, and all these police have got shotguns and all that sort of thing. So something's going on, and then a doctor comes and sits down with him.
They wouldn't have shotguns, would they? They'd have handguns, surely.
No, they had. Yeah, they had.
No, they had shotguns. But they wouldn't. Police wouldn't carry around shotguns. They'd carry
especially
handguns,
for like.
Wouldn't they?
I mean, I imagine, especially like for an inmate that is, especially like an inmate that's not. I don't know if the inmate's comatose or whatever, but they're knocked out and like strapped to a gun or whatever. What are you needing a shotgun for?
It's not very practical, a shotgun. Like, if you're a police officer and you're running around and you're an armed officer, surely like a handgun is, you can tuck that into a little holster. You can run around with that. Bloody great big long shotgun.
But also, as a
they could
fella,
whack people out of the way with it as well.
That's exactly
running
it.
for a crowded street.
As a fella, if someone said to you, "Hey, look, you can have this little gun on your hip," or would you rather carry this great big thing?
Yeah, but I'm just thinking about it being practical if you're a police officer running around chasing criminals.
Look, have you seen the police in America? There's no practicality. They're wearing like full military combat gear, some of them.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no practicality there. It's the image, you know. That's the only thing I can imagine. That is the only thing I can imagine. But the doctor. The doctor comes and sits down.
She's a female doctor.
Yeah, and says, look, he's lost his arm.
Can't save his arm.
But we can rebuild him. We have the technology. And they're like...
Does the wife know at this point? Does she tell her she's experimenting, or does she just say, we can do this?
Yeah, she says it is a new kind of... procedure.
Yeah.
And... there's a real bit of like pressure on the wife here. It's like, look, you've got to say yes now. If you don't, we can't help. That we've got an opportunity to do this, and that's it.
Yeah.
Which also makes me think, but with what happens later in the film, there wasn't the urgency for the other people that received some of these other limbs. They all got operated on at different times. How long can you
keep a dead limb before you can't sew it on somebody?
Well, that's it. How long?
Keep it on ice, it's fine for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, not a problem.
Anything can happen in movie land.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is absolutely the bloody epitome of that.
Yeah.
So the wife signs. And that's when Bill is then wheeled into the theatre. And we see... Now...
This bit was...
This whole scene...
Yeah, I mean... Right, hold on, have I got this?
Have you got it down as your bad scene? Because I don't know how much I want to say about it now.
I've got it in my bad scene. But basically this is where the arm gets sewn onto Bill, isn't it? So Bill's lost his whole arm from the shoulder.
Yes.
The complete arm is gone in the crash.
But if you were being wheeled into an operating theatre to have that dealt with, would it be just an open wound? Or do you think they might have...
Well, they'd have to stop the bleeding, wouldn't they? Because you'd bleed to death if you lost
And
an
I'm
arm
sure
like
they'd have it, like,
covered
and protected from infection.
Yeah.
You know, but it looks like they literally just wheel them into this operating theatre through the hospital.
Yeah. And
have they not heard of...
And also you get...
superbugs?
Yeah. Well, yeah, hospital's the worst place for that sort of stuff. And also you get... Well, I've only ever had, like, day surgeries. I've never had, like, a major operation like that. I've had, like, procedures. But I've been put under general anaesthetic.
Oh, have you?
And you get wheeled into one, like, sort of, almost like a little entrance before the main room.
Yeah, like a pre-op, yeah.
And you have an anaesthetist and you have doctors and nurses and there's a few people there.
Mm-hmm.
And you get put to sleep and then get wheeled into theatre. You're not laying in the theatre where they're going to operate.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's what my experience has been.
Yeah.
Is you kind of go into this first little room, they've got all the stuff there to anaesthetise you. Then you get wheeled into the main room and then you're operated on. You don't go into the theatre and see what they're doing and see the instruments and see the machinery and...
Oh, right.
You're put to sleep.
But that's what you see in all the movies, isn't it? That's
well, I don't know if it's different in America, but over here, that's I've had general anaesthetic.
Well, I used to watch Holby City. And...
Did they do that there?
Yeah, they were all... Yeah, it was just... You're just put to sleep in the theatre.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely I've been knocked out before I'm in the main room they're going to use to do the procedure. So... I don't know, but definitely not lying there wide awake while they're doing what they do in this scene. We'll talk about this scene later.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This whole scene is something else. We then have kind of like a bit of a montage, don't we? Of him coming to... well, no, not quite a montage. He comes to, and the doctor explains to him what's happened.
Yes.
And his wife's there with him. But then we do get a bit of a montage of him kind of rehabilitating with this arm.
Oh, that is so funny as well. So there's like a bit where he's just trying to lift this tiny little hand weight, but really struggling to do it. That just really made me laugh.
I know, but Emma, there was a moment though where he's trying to lift his hand weight, and the camera angle on him showed you his right shoulder trying to move, but it was really focused on his face, and he was really like...
really straining, wasn't he? It was making those noises as well.
It just looked like something else. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, it was funny, that bit.
But he builds his strength, and very quickly, he's really strong with it.
Yeah, from what I know, especially something like that, it would take a hell of... If your body did accept it and the nerve endings got... I don't even know. I think we did look this up, didn't we? Because I was like, can you transfer a limb and it works?
And apparently now they're doing them.
Apparently you can, but it's very, very intricate surgery.
Not in 1991.
No, and it's also hasn't got... I don't think it's got a high percentage rate of being really successful, and as in you've got the whole use of that limb.
Yeah.
But he very quickly just could use this arm like it was his, and I would have years to use it properly.
But it's in total in the movie, I think they explain it as something like 4 months. 4 months between the accident and him being back at work. Yeah. Is how long it is.
And driving and all of that stuff.
But by the time he's back at work, he is fully functioning with this arm, and seems to be, he's pumping weights, he's doing all sorts with this arm. Yeah. It's super strong. Super strong.
Do you also have to take, I don't know why I'm asking you this because you're not a doctor, but if you have like a heart transplant, lung transplant, any of that,
Yeah.
you have to take the medication, anti-rejection kind of
Yes,
medication.
yeah, there is,
your
yeah.
body. So if it was an external limb, that's for an internal organ. But if it was a limb, would you have to? I guess you'd have to do the same thing, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because it's coming from someone else, isn't it? Because
so it's different blood supply and everything.
Yeah, because it's from
tissue,
someone else. Even though even though it might even be compatible with you, which there's no. I mean, the coincidences. I mean, I don't know that much about, transplant and all that sort of thing. But even though it's compatible with you, because the body does still see it as a foreign object, it will attack it, and that's what the rejection medication does. Doesn't it reduce your? It reduces your. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know.
When you're fighting off infection.
Antibodies.
Yeah, doesn't it reduce your antibodies because of that sort of thing?
I guess anything foreign in your body will try and reject, won't it?
Did you know? I can't remember who told me this, but your eyes, your brain doesn't know your eyes exist. Your brain doesn't know your eyes exist, and if it did, it would attack them as foreign bodies. Your eyes have their own antibody system.
Yeah, but your brain, don't they send signals to your brain?
They send signals to the brain through the optical nerve, but the actual eyeballs themselves have their the brain doesn't know the eyeballs exist, and if it did, your antibodies would attack them as foreign objects.
What are you talking about?
I know. This is fact. It was told to me. I've done nothing to look it up or corroborate it, but I have no reason to doubt that this is absolute fact.
I just quickly looked up how long it would take for a limb to be functional after you have it.
Oh, okay.
And it showed me a little bit of text, and then it's gone into a massive thing, and I can't see it now. But it was basically saying that. Why is that now gone? Oh, here you go. So
technology, eh?
All patients would be required to attend direct hand therapy. Say this is hand and arm transplants.
Yep.
For 6+ hours each day, 5 days a week.
Yep.
For the first 3 to 6 months after the transplant, and then it goes on to say therapy will something. But when I go into it, I can't get to that bit.
Oh, okay.
So he definitely didn't do that.
No.
He definitely wasn't doing 5 days a week, 6 hours a day.
Within 4 months, he was fully functioning. Full function.
So he would have had to do 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
Of 6 hours plus a day, 5 days a week, to get using that hand and arm.
A hand again. Well, maybe there are other powers at play
and
here.
And it's like 12+ hours of surgery.
Yeah.
Up to 12 hours or more of surgery. Nerve regeneration, physical therapy.
Hello, I'm really excited about teaming up with you.
Ugh, stop. What's going on? Strange. Sorry about that. I was getting back to my notes. Yeah, but so yeah, we get this montage, and he's fine. The arm's working fine, better than ever. We see a little bit of the home life when he's back with the family, and when he's back with his wife.
Yeah.
I think less said about that scene, the better.
Yeah, that scene.
But let's just say, wifey likes the new hand.
I think the new bad boy hand.
The bad boy hand is
more interesting than his old hand. Let's just say
that. And moving on, but it's no unicorn, is it?
It's no unicorn.
It's no unicorn sex scene.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah. I don't want to talk more about the scene because I do have that scene to talk about music. I've got the music in that scene to talk about. All right. He goes back to work.
Yep.
He goes. Well, I mean, like this is where the film gets a little bit annoying for me because I don't remember it all very well, to be perfectly honest with you. Mm-hmm. But he goes back to work and he's talking to the inmate.
Yeah.
Again. The one that he was talking to earlier in the film. And very quickly, and again, I want to talk about this scene later as well, but very quickly the inmate recognises something in the doctor, in Bill, that's not quite right. And he says, and he's like, oh, there's a little bit of the devil in you as well, or like the monster in you as well here.
Yeah.
And Bill spots a tattoo
on
his wrist, and he grabs it and looks at it, and then looks at his own wrist on the transplanted hand, and the inmate sees this, and he's like, they only give that tattoo to people on death row.
Yeah.
And then the inmate goes mad, and he's like, get me out of here, I can't be with this guy, because whatever.
Yeah.
What's this, anyway. So that gets Bill thinking, why have I got the hand of a guy that was on death row?
Yeah.
What's going on?
And
because
what's he done as well?
Yeah, and what's he done? Because he's also noticing that there are other little events throughout the movie, like he gets he gets really angry with his wife at one point, doesn't he? She comes in and frightens him, and he's like, no, she just walks in the room and he jumps. And I've got this down as like a wild card.
Okay.
Did we have lines?
We had lines, yeah.
We had lines. I don't have it down as a wild card then. I've got it just down as a line. But he says something really mean to her, and she says something back, and a whole argument comes up. And this isn't like him.
Yeah.
There's also a bit where he's play fighting with his son, and he gets hurt, and he smacks the son as well.
Yeah.
So there's all these little things that are coming up that is like, this is not me. So he decides, well, his wife says to him, what have you always said when you're struggling or you don't know what's happening? Find out more information. Yeah. So he goes to the doctor, Dr. Webb, I think it is.
Yeah.
And says, look, this arm, I need to know more. I need to get rid of it. It's causing so many issues for my family, etc., etc. I don't want it anymore.
Which is not, at that point, it isn't causing loads of issues, is it? Not really.
Well, it's not awful, is it? I think
it could be worse.
It could be worse.
It's not really caused any significant. Yeah, I guess he's getting a little bit more angry, but he's not done anything.
Yeah, he's not done anything terrible. I mean, he's
still a bit slow at this point.
I mean, he did backhand his son across the face.
Well, yeah, that's not.
Which is not ideal.
I think it is frowned upon.
But you could also argue that he's been through a very traumatic experience.
Well, yeah.
And he might be a clinical psychologist or a criminal psychologist or whatever it is, but he really should maybe have had some therapy about that.
Yeah.
But, he's a man of the 90s. He's not going to have therapy about that.
No,
he's got a new working arm, he's fine.
Yeah.
But, so what I mean, I'm not saying that people who go through traumatic experiences are always, become violent, but it could be a symptom of it. So why does he jump to the conclusion that this is the arm's problem? It's the fault of the arm. I mean, he is seeing things as well. He's getting lots of visions of violence as well.
Yeah.
That's happening. And that comes into play a little bit later. But he talks to the doctor and he's like, I want rid of it, blah, blah, blah. So he goes to see her in the hospital, I want rid of it. And I think you might have one of the lines down that she says to him.
Yeah.
I think. So I won't go into it. But she urges him to just, get some help.
He goes to see the doctor after he has done something quite bad. After he strangles his wife in his sleep.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Yeah,
he also strangles her.
I've got to get rid of it because she wakes up one night and the arm just grabs her around the neck.
I thought that happened later. I thought that happened after the doctor.
I've made notes about that.
Oh, okay.
On my lines, and I've put, he goes to see her after he strangles his wife in his sleep. She just wakes up one night and the hand is on her neck and he won't let go. But he's asleep, I think.
He is fast asleep when it happens,
So the hand just does what the hand wants to do.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
And so that's when he gets worried and thinks, I need to get rid of this arm. And he's willing to have, prosthetic instead of the arm.
That's right. Yes.
So he has done something quite bad at that point. I'm not saying the striking the child wasn't bad, but he's also strangled his wife. And when she finally woke him up, he'd already been strangling her for like a few seconds, and it was a bit. I think it freaked him out because it was like, you control it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the doctor is close to the end of the meeting with the doctor. Her assistant comes in and says there's a problem with someone, and she goes off to see him. But he goes and sees someone else who's had 2 legs.
Did he meet the guy with 2 legs before he meets the guy with the arm?
So no, he sees the guy with 2 legs going through physiotherapy.
Yeah.
but he doesn't interact with him at that point.
Oh, okay.
So but he then, I don't know how it happens, but he decides to get more information, and he goes to see, he gets his fingerprint taken.
Yeah.
Through his friend at the police
Yeah.
station, just rock up to the police station, go, hey, can you take my fingerprint and just check me on the database? Very strange. If you were the guy in the police station, you'd be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But the rap sheet that comes up is...
And it also comes up that he's deceased, doesn't it?
Yeah, deceased. Because that as well, how, like, I don't understand this. When the rap sheet comes up and then at the very bottom it says status deceased, right? Why did the deceased flash? When it was focused on it, the deceased flashed multiple times. Yeah.
I don't know, but I also said to you, he could get away with so many crimes, because even if they got forensics and they got fingerprints,
like, this must have happened.
The ghost of this guy.
It must have, or it happened so long ago.
Yeah, it happened before, and
yeah. Now this is just a new crime that we didn't know about, but it's an old crime. If that makes sense. Did that make sense? A new crime.
Yeah, but can't they?
That we didn't know about.
They can date crime scenes, can't they? Like.
Oh, what the?
We were talking about a man that's got a murderous arm here, so let's not get too.
Yeah, let's not get too bogged down.
So he finds out this, and the rap sheet is just like murder,
grand larceny.
There's a couple of other things in there.
And then murder, police officers, 5.
Yeah. So he realises that this is a bad guy's arm.
Yeah.
But then how does he find out that other people? How does he find the other people that've got the other body parts?
Well, I think I must be missing something, because I think maybe he did the search into the arm first. Oh yeah, he did the research into the arm first and found out it belonged to the killer. Then he goes to see the doctor. She goes off to see the guy who had the leg transplant, and he checks the chart to see the names of the people. Yeah. That's it. That's where I got a little confused.
So he's realised that another guy's got his legs and another guy's got the other arm.
Yes. And
opposite to him.
He goes to see the guy with the other arm first of all, who's an artist.
Yes.
And his work has changed dramatically.
Yeah.
The artist, by the way, is played by Brad Dourif, who, if you're listening to this, you probably will know him from all sorts of B movies and so on in the past, and also Grima Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings. So I was so excited to see him. I was like, it's Brad Dourif. Ah! He's a legend, absolute legend, and a great actor. But he is an artist, and he's got all these paintings, but when Bill looks at them, Bill recognises the violent images that he's been seeing, and they start to come into place, and it's like, and he says to this artist guy, he says, this painting here is when he broke the neck of a young woman. This painting here is when he killed 5 cops.
And he paints with just a rag in his hand.
He
paints with the dead man's arm.
Yeah.
And it's just like his hand with a rag. It's not like with a paintbrush.
Yeah.
And it's just odd the way he does it, but it's the arm's just doing it all. And he's not having to think about it.
And he's also says, like, he shows the paintings that he used to do, and he's like, these are just paintings that would go on a bank or on a hotel lobby or something. They're crap. But then he's like, now I'm selling these for 250 grand. My agent's phone's always ringing. Blah blah blah, and it's like, this is some of the best work I've ever done, and it's it's all right. It's not great.
Yeah.
But
but he's quite happy to have the dead man's arm.
100%. Yeah.
Work, and he's like,
he's fully accepted. Fully accepted.
But is Bill trying to persuade him to get rid of it? The arm.
Yeah. He's trying to. Don't you care like how many people this arm has killed, etc.?
He's like, no, I'm making loads of money. I don't give a shit.
He's absolutely fine with it.
Yeah.
So it's a dead end with Bill. He then I don't know how time is expanding here, in this film.
We don't really know, do we? What,
No.
It's the same day, if it's, when it is.
Because then he goes to see the guy who had the leg transplant.
So, so he's playing basketball.
And now he's playing basketball. He's running around.
This guy's got both the killer's legs.
Yeah.
And he's running around playing basketball. But then he follows him home, doesn't he?
Yes.
He gets in his car after the match. Is it a match? Basketball match? Or is it
game? Basketball game? Yeah. Contest. Basketball contest.
After the basketball, he follows him home. He follows him home, and I don't know what the guy's name is, the one with the legs.
Oh, I've got no idea.
So,
Legman. Legman.
So Legman's driving home, and all of a sudden he's driving home, and then he can't control the legs, and he almost crashes, doesn't he?
Yes.
And he has to swerve and try and brake to get this car to a stop because he's going to crash. And then Bill talks to him and about the fact that what just happened, and the fact that he's got these legs that are...
This whole chat between them was so weird.
Yeah.
It was like, I think, I'm pretty sure I do have it down as one of my bad scenes. But, no, I don't actually. I don't. But it's like it's ad-libbed. And it's like the guy in the car that's had the two legs amputated, it's almost like he didn't remember his lines, and Jeff Fahey is just like, look, I'm just going to respond to whatever you're saying. And it was just the weirdest thing. Honestly, I urge people to watch this movie so they can see that scene in this car, just to think, what the hell is going on here between the two of them?
Is this guy more willing to listen to him, or is he
he's
having a great basketball career, I'm happy to keep the legs?
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, but at least I've got legs,
By the way, so Bill's arm and the legs that we see, because he's got very small shorts on.
Yeah.
You're almost seeing.
Yeah. During the physiotherapy, there's a bit where he turns round and it's just cheeks staring at you.
Yeah. So the leg guy and Bill's arm, we see Bill's arm after it's all been sewn on.
Yeah.
It's like a patchwork quilt, and I don't know,
like Frankenstein.
Yeah, you did say, well, they've got to connect different nerve endings and stuff like that. So maybe they do make different incisions down the arm to do that work.
But then after I said that,
at the shoulder, aren't they?
That's exactly it. After I said that,
cut into this bit, because this bit's just one piece, and then they're just attaching it up around the shoulder.
That's the thought I had after it. Oh yeah, they'd just be connecting at the top end, wouldn't they?
So actually, why is there all scars and stitches all down it? It wasn't a patchwork quilt. It was like,
unless that was something that was done by the killer themselves.
Yeah, unless he had injuries and scars. No, but there's fresh stitches.
Yeah, they were fresh stitches though. That's a good point.
It looks like they just hacked into his arm for no reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought that was worth a mention, because the guy's legs were like it as well, and it's like,
Yes,
again, they're
were.
only attaching them at the top, so they don't need to.
Why do they need to go into the legs themselves? That's a good point.
I don't know. I mean, we're not doctors, we're not surgeons, we don't know. But if there's any surgeons listening, if surgeons listen to this,
well, you don't know.
well, we don't know. It could be,
It could be. What if,
Please
right?
enlighten us
What if this episode is currently is on the playlist of a surgeon as he's doing
surgery,
a hand and arm transplant right now? How meta would that be?
That would be pretty wild, wouldn't it?
What if it's years in the future and
this is just the norm?
Heaven forbid, I have an accident and I lose an arm.
Sewn on.
And it's me on the table. And they're like, wait a second, Mr. Keane, did you used to do a podcast called I See Bad
We
Movies?
didn't used to. When are we giving up?
Oh, you've gone successful and you've left me behind.
Oh, I've left, okay.
Yeah. And I was actually chasing you down in my car to have words with you when a semi-truck went into the back of me, sent me flying, I lost my arm.
Yeah.
Now, though, I'm going to use the killer's arm for vengeance.
Yeah. Oh, God,
There you go.
I'll watch my back.
You better.
And then he's listening to this episode.
And he's listening to this episode. How meta is that?
Yeah.
So, look, mate, if you're listening, do a good job. I'll chuck a couple of bob your way.
I don't think surgeons are short of cash, actually.
No,
they're
they're not. When I used to work in the bank, I had this surgeon come in, right? And he was flashing his Black American Express card at me. And, I was doing a mortgage for him on a house, Like it was a remortgage, mind.
Yeah.
It was, so he was just getting a better rate or whatever. But it was like, oh yeah, the house is probably worth about 2.5 million now. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, good, yeah. How much did you pay?
Oh.
Oh, you only paid about 800 grand for it.
Yeah.
You know, however long ago, and now it's worth. You know, it's like, yeah. Oh, you've got an American Express Black Card, have you? Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, you do private surgery, do you? Oh, okay. It's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. But however, if you're the surgeon that's doing the work on my arm right now, I do care.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Maybe this. I think we're getting.
He's not going to care about your little bit of bob, whatever you said.
Yeah.
I'll throw you a couple of bob.
Yeah.
He's not going to care about that.
He's not going to care. Look, I'll do something for you. I'll find something for you. I think we're getting far too meta now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so he's trying to talk to the guy with the legs as well and say.
And he's not having any of it.
No.
Because the legs are like, oh, this is great, this is fine. But, and see, this is where I think we're getting messed up, because then he chokes his wife, and his wife kicks him out, and he goes and stays by himself in a motel.
Oh, but I've definitely written down he sees the doctor, so maybe he sees.
Maybe I think he must go back to see the doctor after that, because when he's talking to them, when he first meets the guys, he's not living on his own. Because when she kicks him out for choking her, which, again, she kicks him out, and in the middle of the night, he goes and wakes up the kids, and is like...
Yeah, that's odd. He
picks up one of the kids.
So she wakes up being choked. Yeah, so we are getting confused here, aren't we?
And then he takes the kids into a room.
He goes into the daughter's room, wakes her up, carries her into the brother's room, sits them both on the bed, and says, Daddy's going away for a while. And I was like, in the morning? Like, you don't need to like leave right now. And if you are leaving right now, leave the kids to sleep and explain to them when you see them.
Come back in the morning.
Yeah.
You know,
because
get up extra early. Come round before they're awake. Oh, it's the worst.
Someone woke me up just to tell me that. I'd be like,
good.
Tell me that.
I'm glad you're going.
You could have told me that in the morning. You don't need to tell me that in the middle of the night.
No. Oh.
Yeah, so we have got confused somewhere because...
Yeah. But I think he does go to see the doctor twice.
Yeah.
Because I think after this he's a lot more frantic about, I've got to get this arm off, I've got to get it off.
Yeah.
And he's...
When do we go into the point of him going back to the artist's house and having...
So because he's on his own, he's writing in his journal and he's like, you know, I'm here on my own, I'm isolated, I'm lonely, so I'm going to reach out to... And he reaches out to...
Yeah.
The two guys, the painter and the basketball player.
Right.
And then they're in a bar and they're having drinks, talking to each other. And that's when they're like, mate, just accept it. You've got an arm.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I want to get rid of it. And they're having beers and they're having shots. But there's a guy in the bar who's like, oh, because there was a whole media circus when he got the arm transplant.
Yeah.
And there's a guy in the bar who's going, I recognise you from the TV. I want to see the arm. And the guy's like, look, just leave it alone. It's just a hand. It's a hand like anyone else's. And he's like, no, show me the arm. And he's getting belligerent about it. And he's like, show me the arm, you freak. And that's like when they're like, oh, you should not have said that. And this is the scene that I was talking about in the intro. I remember that a little bit different from when I was younger, when I first watched this film.
This is a my good scene, so let's not talk about it too much.
So there's a bar fight ensues.
Yes.
And they call the cops from the bar, and how quick do the police turn up?
Yeah, they're instantly there.
Instant. It's within seconds they turn up. It's like have they been following them?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So after the bar, this is where the movie just suddenly goes, the end.
Yeah.
Because after the bar, the basketball player calls Bill on the phone and is like, oh man, tonight was blah, 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 blah. But he's interrupted with a noise in the house, and then you hear him over the phone go, no. And then it cuts out. So Bill decides to go around and see him.
Yeah.
And he gets there, and there's signs of a struggle. The door's kicked in, and he finds our basketball player on the bed with his legs ripped off.
Yeah, I know. And it's quite a gruesome scene, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's not not nice.
See the bloodied, well, not even stumps, it's just literally ripped off from...
Yeah, from because they do look like they're pretty much attached near the thigh.
Yeah.
Because later on later on you see the legs again, and you got the end of the femur bone sticking out.
Yeah.
That made me laugh so much. You had so he instantly calls his wife and is like, "You got to get out of the house, whatever." Because obviously he's a target. He's thinking he's a target as well. Someone's after the body parts. Yeah. Whatever reason, could be a disgruntled person. You know, a family member of a victim or something is like, I want to get these body parts and I'm going to burn them over. He doesn't know. So the next thing you see is the police are there at the grisly murder scene that's just happened. And then he suddenly realises, oh my God, we've got to get to the painter's house. And the detective's like, well, why? Why?
He's got the other arm.
Because he's in danger.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the artist's house or studio, and he's got and he's investigating a noise in his studio, and there's a door open, so he closes the door. But when he thinks he's all fine and everything's okay, he's then attacked by a guy in a neck brace. Yeah. Why would the guy be wearing a neck brace?
I don't know.
Oh, we don't know. But he's attacked. And the next thing we see, he's thrown out the window and he manages to grab onto the sill. Yeah. And he's grabbed by the arm, isn't he? And I don't know about you, right? But if you'd had your arm transplanted, okay, but you were fully functioning with it and you were living your day-to-day life with it, do you think that arm should just come so cleanly off?
It shouldn't just rip that tissue.
It was like someone had just undone the Velcro.
Firmly attached. Yeah, it was literally, it just came off so easy.
Yeah. What was that, Milo?
Sorry, my dog's been so noisy today.
That was a strange... Whatever it is, I think whatever it is out there has freaked him out, isn't it?
Yeah, there's something outside making a noise. We don't know if it's foxes, but it's got up in it.
Oh, poor wee thing. Yeah. We're showing you sympathy now, Milo. Look at those little puppy dog eyes. Look at them. Oh. I don't. Have we shown the listeners Milo?
I don't think we have.
Milo's been heard a lot.
A lot, yeah.
You'll probably the tap
tap. A lot, and you hear him bark sometimes.
Oh, there he goes.
But she's gonna.
Oh, we really should let the listeners see Milo.
I'll get a nice headshot of him.
There's a lot of weird photos of him.
Yes.
I think I got one of him where he was kind of like upside down looking at me. And it's like, yeah. But I think he was a lot younger then.
We'll get a nice photo.
A portrait.
Yeah, a nice portrait of him.
A nice portrait.
Actually, I think I've got one of him sitting on my armchair looking very regal.
Oh.
So we'll post that one.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the film.
Yeah, so the painter has his arm ripped off and he goes falling out of the window just as the police car drives up and conveniently breaks his fall. But but not before he's dead.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. They break his fall, but he still did. Now, we then see this scene's all happening, but we then see the doctor and her assistant watching from the distance.
Yes.
But we don't see anything else happen. They're just watching from a distance. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming at this point, our experiment's going a little bit wrong. Well, we'll see later.
Yeah.
However, probably then the next best thing about the whole movie happens.
Yeah.
A man in a neck brace pulls up beside Bill and the detective in the car with one... So obviously it's American cars, so Bill's on the right-hand side. Yeah. Our driver's on the left-hand side. His left arm has one link of a handcuff on. Yes. And he grabs Bill's arm and puts the other handcuff on Bill's right arm, which is the transplanted arm, and makes to drive off. Yes. And I don't want to go into this one because this is a scene, but there's a whole sort of semi-chase / semi-keeping up.
It's not a chase, is it?
It's a keepy-uppy.
It's two cars keeping up with each other while two people handcuffed in separate cars. Yeah, it's madness.
Bill does manage to get the handcuffs detached.
Yeah, don't they shoot them? Yeah, they shoot them.
He takes the detective's gun and whilst they were driving at high speed, shoots the links
Yes.
and is separated off.
Yeah.
It's like mad.
Which is a bloody good shot to get the handcuffs and not one of the arms.
Yeah,
One
absolutely.
of the arms are technically dead anyway.
Yeah.
Yes. So, so we have that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And then is it after that neck brace guy gets out of the car?
Well, neck brace guy drives off.
Yeah.
And the detective, Bill and the detective get out the car, and the detective's kind of chasing after the car a little bit. But Bill gets back in the police car and drives off after it.
Yeah.
But we think I think he's kind of figured out what's happening and where he's going. But
I just can't stop my
noise.
So I think we're just going to have to. Sorry, listeners, we're going to have to just carry on because he's just on.
Yeah, something set him off. Bless him. So he kind of loses control of the car. The guy that's just killed people.
Yeah.
Loses control of the car and crashes it. The car sets on fire.
Yeah.
But the arm from the painters on the dashboard. Right?
Yeah.
He crashes it. The car's on fire. We see him grab the arm. He reaches into the back seat and grabs the two legs.
Yeah, and he just walks away from the car, doesn't he? Holding these.
Yeah, he walks away and he's got these legs everywhere and this arm everywhere and he's holding on to them. The car explodes.
Yeah.
He goes flying with it and he's on the floor and Dr. Webb comes along and helps him up.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun. That then prompts us, now we're back in the operating theatre with the doctor, and Bill comes in and he's got the gun, and he sees the original torso of the donor body.
Yeah.
We see the body doesn't have a head. We see the left arm. We see the two legs. And the body's being kept sort of breathing.
Or sort of in this like tank.
Yeah.
A bit like Crank 2.
Yeah.
If you've seen Crank 2.
You, Jeff
There's a head in a tank just being kept alive.
Fuck you, Bill Crookshank.
Yeah, there's just like a tank full of living severed body parts.
Yeah. But all the original body parts of our killer Charlie. But there's no head. Where could the head be? I wonder. So the doctor doesn't even really give like any real reason why she would be helping this serial killer bring all the body parts back.
Her experiment is to transplant limbs onto other people and see if they can successfully be transplanted.
Yep.
And then see if you can then take them off again and put the original man back together.
But like, why would she want to do that with a convicted serial killer?
Just because she's so hell bent on her experiment, I think she has no. Because there's one of my lines is to do with this, but
okay.
She literally doesn't care about anybody else involved. She just wants her experiment to be to work and happen. Because
when I was younger and I watched this movie, I always thought, and it was just like misremembering it, but I always thought it was something to do with she was in cahoots with a serial killer, because that's the usual kind of thing that it is.
Possibly, but it doesn't say that in the movie, does it? They don't allude to that. It's just. I just feel like she's so hell-bent on getting her, like, I want to do this experiment, so I don't really care who gets hurt or who the body is. It's just, I need to do this experiment. He was just a candidate because he was on death row and that's how they killed him.
Yeah.
So she doesn't really care for anyone's safety or anything like that. She's just kind of like, no, I want to see if I can do this experiment. It's like so careless. It's just like, don't care about any of the human beings involved or who might get hurt.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure we can make this work.
And this is too much for Bill. So Bill decides, he then points the gun at the doctor, and I don't know what he's going to do with it.
Yeah.
Stop her, kill her.
Don't know.
Who knows? No idea. No idea what he's wanting to do. But clearly he knows this can't continue. However, unbeknownst to Bill, behind him, a guy with a neck brace comes up behind him and boom, knocks him out with a shotgun.
Yeah.
That's why you want a shotgun.
Yeah, because you can knock people out as well.
You're quite right. You can just
so if they're too close to you, just whack around the head with it. If they're further away, shoot them.
You could just shoot them still with the shotgun. Anyway. But maybe I don't know why he didn't just kill Bill. Oh, there's a film idea. Do you have to be alive to have the arm taken off to be retransplanted back?
Oh, who knows what the rules are?
Who knows what the rules are? Anyway, Bill wakes up. He's strapped down to a bed. He's about to have his arm chopped off.
Yeah.
However, they mistakenly what they don't realise is how strong this arm is.
This arm, so the other arm, whipped clean
Whoa.
off straight away.
Yeah.
No problem at all. This one, he's not coming off.
Yeah, the killer's right arm is so strong.
Yeah.
It breaks out of the bonds on the gun they're holding him down.
Yeah.
He punches the doctor and knocks her flying.
Yeah.
Gets off the bed, and he has a fight with the guy in the neck brace.
Yeah.
And he grabs the guy in the neck brace and he starts undoing the neck brace.
Yes.
And then twists his neck and breaks it.
Yes, and then he just kind of falls to the ground, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So we think, he's dead.
Yeah. Bill gets the handgun, blows the crap out of all the body parts that are left. I don't know, what does he do with the doctor? Does he kill the doctor?
I can't remember, actually.
I think he does. I think he shoots the doctor dead. Possibly. I can't quite... Oh, God, I can't remember. That's bad, isn't it? That's bad. Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, she's dealt with. Bill's on the ground like, oh, phew, that's everything's done. But we see a hand. Yeah, I think, does he shoot the doctor with a shotgun?
I was just desperately trying to look up if it says it on online.
Yeah, I can't remember. But either way, she's dealt with. But then we see a hand reaching towards a gun, and it's our...
So he's called Charlie, the guy.
Yeah, Charlie is
He tries to kill Bill with the detective's gun, but accidentally kills Dr. Webb.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Bill shoots Charlie in the head, killing him for good.
That's it. Yep, that's exactly what happens.
And
that's
then
it.
Bill sits with his wife in the park. In his journal, he notes that he hasn't had any other problems with the arm after Charlie's death.
Yes, that's right.
Charlie, the neck brace man, is the killer's head, so his brain as well. And after he's dead, and he's still thankful to both Dr. Webb and Charlie for the new arm.
Yeah, and he puts something like at the end, doesn't he say, "Thanks for the arm, Charlie. I won."
Yeah.
And his wife says to him, "You're gonna keep that in?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's for the medical journal, but I wanted to put a bit of lightheartedness into it."
Yeah.
It's like I don't think medical journals are known for the. Maybe they are.
Humour.
Maybe you could be, and maybe the surgeon listening to this could confirm, that there might be a few little in jokes thrown into medical journals where they're like, oh, and yeah, I see what they did there. But literally, thanks for the arm, Charlie. I won.
Yeah.
Not like I think even caught references to him as Chuck at one point in it. It was like,
yeah,
thanks, Chuck. Okay,
so
whatever.
all in all, quite a pointless story, really. But...
Yeah, I was hoping, and I know I'd seen this movie before, so when I say I was hoping, but it's a sort of movie where you hope that he's kind of possessed by the arm, and kills people.
Yes, so I was going to say, when we decided to do this movie, and I had a quick look, I just assumed, didn't see a trailer or anything, I just read a synopsis, I think. I just assumed, okay, you've got a killer's arm, this arm's going to go on a killing spree, and you're not in control of it. But it wasn't that at all. It was just... No. It was so tame for what it could have been. Yeah. I was expecting some really good deaths and some really funny bits where this arm's just taken over and...
Apparently the film is based upon a novel.
Which said the film's based on a true story. That'd be wild.
That would be wild. That would be very wild. But yeah, apparently it's based on a true story. So, it's based on a novel. Oh my God.
It's definitely not based on a true story.
And I think the novel must just be not like a gory sort of horror. It's just like a psychological thriller, a little bit more, mind-bendy stuff that's going on in the novel perhaps. Yeah. But yeah, there's no sort of killing. And you would think, I think I'd make for a much more interesting film if he was kind of possessed by the arm and he woke up, and he killed someone or something.
Kind of just so slow. And then what the arm did do wasn't. He was trying to strangle his wife, but he didn't kill anyone.
But who wouldn't want to sometimes just
But
No.
it wasn't, you've got a killer's arm. It could be, you could go out on a killing spree. That's what I thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
So, it was like I say, half, the beginning half was quite boring.
Yep.
Second half a bit more was happening, but...
Could have done, yeah. Now we've got to focus on the bad parts of this. So we've got casting, hair and makeup, we've got scene, we've got lines, and there are some wild cards as well in here. So now, what are you thinking? What do you want to start with? Do you want to start with casting?
Casting, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't actually... I have got bad casting. So we haven't even talked
about the detective.
The detective guy.
Yeah.
So there's a really bad detective in this.
Yeah.
Who has the weirdest accent. At one point he said something and I was like, I have no idea what he just said. It was just
what was it you referenced it as?
So there's... So on your...
I didn't look this up, by the way. I didn't look it up.
I think it's Jessie from Little Mix. Is it Little Mix? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, Little Mix.
I think it's Jessie from Little Mix. So there's an interview with Little Mix and they are playing a game. They have to pull out a card and the card's got an accent on it and they have to do the accent. Yeah. And Jessie pulls out Jamaican. Yeah. And she kind of goes, and then she just makes the weirdest sound. I don't think we can play it on here because of copyright and stuff. Yeah. But treat yourself to it, listeners, because it is hilarious. She just comes out with this weird noise, and everyone's like, the others just kind of look at her like, what the hell did she just do? She doesn't say any words, she just kind of does this weird noise, and it's just funny. But this detective did that at one point. He just it was just noise, and I was like, did he actually say words?
He did.
Like, what was he saying?
I can't remember what he said, but it came out in a really weird way. It's like, yeah,
like, what is he talking about?
What is going on? I know.
I don't know what's going on with my
I had him down too, because there was a point where Bill goes and talks to the detective, right? Yeah. And I don't know why. Oh yeah, he talks to him because he was the detective who had men killed by Charlie, the killer, right? Yeah. But in this scene, right, I thought to myself, this guy is less a detective and more a jazz poet. Yeah. He said that it was like the way he said it was like, he took 5 of my men, and then he goes on a little bit and it's like, things got hazy, and then there's another bit where he goes, and cha cha cha.
What are you talking about?
What in the Tommy Wiseau is going on? It just seriously,
madness, I'll tell you.
Yeah. If you're casting a detective, that's not what I'd go for. No. I think this guy is the reason this category exists. Yeah. Because he's just so badly miscast as the detective. And I'm so glad that casting was picked for this movie, because I actually have a bad casting and a good casting as well for this.
I don't think I've got a good...
And it's a very good reason for the good casting too. Okay. So if you haven't joined us on the flip side, I would really recommend that you do. Yes. Because not only will you have 24 previous episodes.
24, wow.
24 whole previous episodes. Yeah. You'll also be able to listen to our special Christmas episode for our Patreon. Yeah. And not be missing out on that. So, but... because we've got the two of the main reasons why the casting exists, because there's good casting in this film and there's dreadful casting, and the detective is awful.
Yes.
You're
not convinced he's a detective at all.
You would just never cast this man as a detective. I can't
understand what he's talking about.
No.
Even if you can hear the words, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I know. So yeah, was he your bad as well?
Yeah, his name, by the way, is Detective Shawchuck.
Okay.
Right, what is the point in having such a weird name? If your surname is Shawchuck, apologies. Yeah. But again, what's the point in having a weird named detective if you're only ever going to hear the name spoken? Yeah. Shawchuck. Yeah. What's the point? Anyway, I digress. So we've both got the bad casting together there. Yes. Right. Now, what about hair and makeup?
Oh, hair and makeup. Yeah. So I had bad hair for Bill.
Yes.
And I don't even know how to describe the hairstyle to anybody.
It
wasn't a mullet.
No, it wasn't.
It was long. It wasn't long. It was long hair.
Yeah, it was kind of a short to medium, kind of not slick back, but brushed back.
It's really hard to describe, isn't it? Yeah, so it was brushed back. So it wasn't a really short man's hair. It was kind of, it went sort of tucked around his ears.
Yes.
And sort of slightly down his neck.
Yeah.
Not a bob.
But it also seemed like it was kind of back brushed a bit to give it kind of volume as well. And
I can't think of any examples of like famous people that or had hairstyles like that in the 90s that I could compare it to either.
I know. And there was one bit that this is what the bit that I was one bit that was made me really think about it was at the beginning of the movie. He was walking into his office with a really jaunty step, and with every step, his hair was bouncing up and down with him.
Yeah.
I just thought, what's going on, pal? What is happening? It was very, very distracting all the way through his hair.
Yes, it was just an odd hairstyle. But the artist guy who had the killer's other arm, his hair was giving Frodo Baggins.
And I said, how funny, because he was in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, but it wasn't it? It was that.
Yeah, it was.
That was the hairstyle.
Yeah, it was a real sort of...
sorry, not Frodo Baggins.
Bilbo. It was
Baggins.
more Bilbo. Yeah,
More Bilbo Baggins than Frodo. Because Frodo's the young...
Yeah.
The young Hobbit, isn't he? No, not the young Hobbit, the old Hobbit.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. That hurts that you... Yeah. That you don't just instantly know who Frodo Baggins is. And
I do know, but I was thinking...
It's Elijah Wood.
It's not the young guy. He was given the old...
Bilbo Baggins style. Yeah. But not the Martin Freeman Bilbo Baggins. No. The Ian Holm Bilbo Baggins. Yeah.
So, did you have anything different for hair?
No, that was it. That was it for me for hair and makeup.
Yeah.
Right. So, what about music?
Music. I just thought the intro was the longest intro ever.
Oh my God, wasn't it?
I fast forwarded it in the end, didn't I? Because it
yes.
went on and on and on.
We did. We actually fast forwarded the intro. Yeah, it was like one of the.
Stop.
Do you know back in the old days when they had the old movies had all the credits at the beginning of the film?
Yes.
It was like that.
It just kept going, didn't it?
It kept
going. And it was like this really bad, annoying, kind of like horror music, but it was just an annoying, repetitive. And because it went on so long, I was like, I don't need.
It was one of those types of music that was created in a way to make you feel uneasy.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, we get it. Please just start the film.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the credits weren't even like the opening credits weren't even like.
That was so boring. It wasn't even
interesting.
No.
It was just a dark screen with some red stuff on it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Just the worst. So that's the only thing I had for music because there wasn't really much music in this movie at all, was there?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought that could have been half the length.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I do have some bad.
Okay.
Some bad music. So I don't know if it's his first night home from the hospital or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's the night that he initiates sexy time with his wife. Okay.
Okay.
And they play again this really tense, dramatic music over him just making some moves on his wife.
Yeah.
And it's like,
odd, isn't it?
Are you trying to tell us by this music that this isn't normal for him to do?
Yeah.
Like a man in a relationship.
And I don't think they were doing that. I don't think they were saying this isn't normal for him to have sex with his wife. I think they were saying this is going to be different.
This is going to be different, this sex.
Because he's got the arm.
But that's the thing.
She liked the arm.
Yeah, she did. But then, but why the tense dramatic music? And it was really like thriller scene music going over it. And it just...
Yeah.
And it's ultimately just a sex scene between a man and a wife, just with an extra killer's arm attached. But at this point, we don't know it's a killer's arm. He's not done anything with it to make it seem like this arm maybe has a mind of its own.
Yeah.
So,
true.
if in the earlier scene where they were talking in bed with each other, if they'd played the wife saying something like, oh God, you're so wrapped up in your work, you don't have any time for me or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
all of a sudden he's
all of a
interested.
sudden
Yeah.
he's really interested, then I might have thought, oh, what's changed?
Yeah.
Perhaps he's gone through a massively traumatic event in his life.
New arm, new sex drive.
But you know, but just to, all of a sudden, just to
Yeah.
introduce this, and I know we're sitting watching a psychological thriller where ultimately, yes, we know from the blurb that it's the arm of a serial killer. But as we're watching the film and
the
the
movie
progression of
hasn't
the story,
told us that yet.
exactly. So it just felt so out of place.
Yeah.
I mean, So that was my bad music for that.
Fair enough.
If only they'd just done a little bit more to bring it up into it. So we've talked about casting, we've talked about hair and makeup, we've talked about music.
Yeah.
So it's down to you whether you want to do bad line or bad scene.
Should we do scene?
Scene? Okie dokie. What have you got?
So one of the first scenes where he's had the accident.
Okay.
He's laying in the theatre.
Yeah.
And like you said, bloody stump. Well, not even a stump. It's just literally
it's
like socket.
Yeah, socket.
There's nothing there. And yeah, so that's all exposed. So yeah, like you say, infection, stuff like that. He's laying there wide awake.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's a little bit like, oh, sort of, I've just had a massive accident, but he is awake.
Yeah.
And they will in the murderer
Donor,
guy, the donor.
yeah.
They wheel him in on a different bed, and surrounded by police officers who have all got the
They've got the theatre.
What do you call it?
Oh, I wanted to say gunny, but that's the bed.
The gowns.
The
They've
gowns.
got the gowns on.
That's it.
And
Still holding their shotguns.
Yes, holding the shotguns.
The shotguns aren't wearing gowns.
So the doctor has a circular saw, and I just assumed, she's going to chop the arm off.
Yeah.
To sew it on. No, she chops his head off.
Takes his head off.
And he's just laying there watching it.
Yeah, he's watching all this happen.
Watching it, and I'm like, put him out. And then after she cuts his head off and they let him watch it, they then put the mask over his face and put him to sleep.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to...
You just let him watch all of that.
He's still in shock from the arm.
The police in the gowns just walk out because they're like, he's dead.
Well, that's it. Yeah, he's dead. We can move on now.
But I didn't understand why she chopped his head off. I suppose chopped his head off to kill him in the first place, but I guess she had to kill him. But you could have slit his throat, done his arm, and then chopped his head off. I don't know.
But that's the
fact
thing.
They made him watch it. It was like, this is sick.
It's very strange. Very strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose they couldn't do the normal kind of thing. They couldn't give him the lethal injection because, that would, I don't know, maybe like the stuff used in lethal injection would be in his blood and it would cause issues with the transplant. But just chopping the feather's head off, that is the method of corporal punishment that we're using.
If you get a death sentence, it's not...
Capital punishment? Corporal punishment?
Capital punishment.
Capital punishment. Corporal punishment.
You don't... Not everyone's got that right to do that, have they? Like, it has to be a certain person who works in the prison service, I would assume, that has the authority to actually execute somebody.
Yeah.
Well, this is just a doctor working in a hospital. They've just gone, right, there's the body, cut his head off. That's not how it works.
I mean, even the French with the guillotine, they stopped doing that in the 60s, I think.
Yeah, it's got to be, like, there's certain methods that you use. It's not just like a free-for-all, like, kill him however you like, and anyone can do it. No, it doesn't work like that.
What is this, Running Man?
It's not a case of, like, anyone can carry this out and they can do it in any way they wish.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very specific how it's done, who does it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's not just a case of, doctor can chop his head off this time, because she'll
just
use
chop
his
his
body
head off.
parts.
I know. And
I don't know,
also, right, if you just... I mean, this is the thing that gets me, right? There's a whole sort of spinal column.
Yes.
A whole sort of nervous system going on.
Yes.
If you just take a circular saw... I mean, it's one of those, like... It's not like a circular saw you'd see at a carpenter, one of those... It's one of those, like, on the end, a circular saw on the end. Bone cutting saw sort of thing, yeah. One of those ones that spins around on the top of a stick. Right?
One the doctors have.
I mean, you're not just going to slice it clean off and think...
I know, that'd be tough to get through,
I imagine they're going to be tough to get through.
Yeah.
But also, you're just hacking through all of the nerve
a lot.
endings, the muscle tissues that you
arteries,
are then going to reattach.
True.
Make it make sense.
And you can't, I mean, I was quite surprised that they can successfully do limb transplants.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't imagine you can do a head transplant.
Yeah, because ultimately they do.
Here's your new head. You're a different person then. But also you can't attach like all of the spinal stuff that's going on, like your main like arteries and your main like what's it called, the spinal cord.
Yeah.
Like, you can't attach all that. You can't just chop someone's head off and then reattach all of that.
That's
also,
why
you've got a completely different brain. You'd have to wire up to a new body. That's not like
if your spinal cord is severed, that's it.
Paralysed.
You are paralysed.
Yeah.
You know, whatever point it's severed, you're paralysed from that point down.
Yeah.
Wherever the nerves are affected, that's it.
Yeah.
There's no way you're chopping through it with a circular saw and then just attaching it.
Plonking it back on. This isn't like, I don't know, Mr. Potato Head, where you just go take that part, stick that in. Like, it's not a kid's toy. It's just like living tissue.
Yes.
And how complicated is, you know, I just read quickly on Google when I was looking up how long it took to get the use of your limb again.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's 8 to 12 hours of intricate surgery to attach nerve endings and tendons and all of that, like
vessels, blood vessels,
so
capillary, all sorts of things
inside your body. It's like it's a miracle I can even do it.
Have you ever seen that image of the brain and the human nervous system that that was extracted from a human body?
Oh, and I have seen this. It's madness.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of the most insane things I think I've ever seen. But just, and basically, I think it was like a picture of this and just basically, this is you. This is what makes you think and feel and everything.
Yeah.
How mad is that?
I know, it's crazy.
How mad is it just like thoughts in a squishy brain?
Just this weird lump of stuff. It's just like controlling everything we do.
But how good is it that you could have your head removed and just stuck on another body?
Yeah, great. Is it
perfect?
Great?
Is it?
I mean, if you've had a nasty accident and your body's all fine and intact, but your head's a bit mashed up, you're a different person. If you have a different brain, a different face, you're a different person.
Yeah.
You can't just go, oh yeah, I've got my new head.
New head.
Like
same old me. New head. Who this?
Completely different person. Because your brain determines everything about you, doesn't it? Like your brain determines what you like.
So you're never a head donor.
No.
You could only be a body donor to a head in this world.
Yeah, if you're anything, you are your brain, aren't you? Like, if any part of your body is the most significant part, it's your brain, because that's what's dictating my thoughts and feelings, my opinions, my everything about my character.
Now you ask a man.
Comes from my brain. Yeah, slightly different.
But
it's just bizarre. But also, so I'm assuming that they chopped off his head and they chopped off all his limbs.
Yes.
So his torso was kept somewhere.
Yeah, the doctor kept hold of that torso, and was, and this is the thing that gets me right: artificially inflating the lungs, so artificially breathing.
Yeah.
But what I would say is this, right? There is absolutely no point to do that with the body, because the only reason that you would want to keep oxygen going into the lungs is so that oxygen can get to the brain.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the brain will be oxygen starved and will die, and that's it.
So if you've just got a body,
what is the point?
You don't need to inflate the lungs.
And also, that body, right, had a catheter attached to it. And there was a bag collecting urine.
But you're not eating and drinking, so where's urine coming from?
Exactly.
Yeah. So once you've drained that bladder once, it's not refilling, is it?
And I think that was but the only reason that I think they had the catheter that later when we saw the body is so they could use the catheter or whatever, like a catheter, like just to cover the crotch area.
Oh yeah, probably.
That was the only reason I think that was there. We can't have a decapitated body with no arms and legs and just the junk hanging out. No. No, thank you.
And they obviously have to have a certain rating for a film, and if certain things they can't show and they can show, and
Yeah, and you know what?
Also,
I'm going to let that slide.
They've got props, haven't they? Like, because that wouldn't be a real...
It would be... Who would want to be... But mind you, though, if I was a prop maker, I'd be like, yeah, you see that body? I made that. But you know what I'm most proud of? The hyper-realistic cock and balls.
They do use... so a lot of nude scenes, they do use a fake dick, don't they? They use actors will wear a fake so you don't see their own...
But there's always the argument, like, the Boogie Nights...
But that's someone's job to make props.
The Boogie Nights...
Yeah.
When Mark Wahlberg shows his dick at the end of it, that's a fake.
Yeah.
But most recently, that movie Saltburn.
Oh yeah.
When he's dancing around, that's real.
Yeah.
Apparently, good on you, Barry.
Yeah.
You know. I've not.
Because they remark about how big it is as well in the film.
I've not actually seen the film.
I think I told you last time I saw you that it's one of those movies where it's like it's got quite a good story and it's there's a lot like, and the mum in it has got like a great sense of humour. She comes out with some really dry one-liners. So some
not so dry one-liners is one of them.
There's quite a few little funny bits in it that made me laugh. And overall, it's a good story, but there's a couple of scenes in there where it's just like, what, you've got to be pretty sick to even write this. And you're watching it and it's really uncomfortable. And it's not the sort of movie like youngsters want to watch with parents or anything like that, because there's quite a lot of stuff in it that's like sexual stuff and things that it's just like, who you go and watch it with. But yeah, it's,
so you're saying don't take my mum and dad?
Don't take your mum and dad. No, it's on Prime now, isn't it?
It is.
One of the streaming channels. I would say watch it. Just I'd be interested to see what you think of it. But just be warned, there's a couple of scenes that you'll be like, oh, there's no need for that. There's just no need for it. Like, it's just too much. I was kind of like... Ew.
But what if I'm sat there and I'm watching it and I'm like...
You're like,
what's wrong with that?
About? Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Then I'll please have a word.
There's nothing wrong with that. I've done that. I don't actually do.
If you've done some of these things, you probably don't want to admit them. Probably take it to the grave.
Oh God, do I have to edit that out? Right. But yeah, I mean, the whole body separation scene is mad, absolutely mad.
Yeah.
Have you got any other bad scenes?
Only the strangling his wife in the sleep one, because it wasn't even the strangling in the sleep. The fact he was asleep was weird, but it's the fact that obviously she wakes up and she's like, no, you've got to get out, because obviously you'd be petrified if your partner you woke up and your partner's strangling you.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But it's just the whole thing of like, I'm pretty sure if I had an argument with a partner in the middle of the night, I wouldn't go and wake the kids up there and then. I'd be like, I'll explain it to the kids in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll find a good time.
Daddy's had to go to work. Daddy had an emergency at work he had to go to.
If they woke up in the morning and was like, where's Dad? Yeah, he's had to rush off to work, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think you'd pick a good time to tell kids something like that.
Yeah.
But it's the way he goes and wakes his daughter up, wakes his son up. Oh, and then he just goes, Daddy's got to go away for a while. And I'm like, you didn't even explain why or anything. Leave them to sleep.
Were they short on time? Was the movie particularly short? No.
No.
Why is this scene even in the film?
I know.
Why is it not on the editing room floor?
I get the strangling part because it's like showing that this arm's out of control.
But you know what? I don't get the wife's reaction to it. Let me rephrase that. If you were being strangled, then I understand the reaction to it. But the wife all through the film has been like, look, don't worry about it. It's not as bad as you think. Blah 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 blah. You know, get more information. You're clearly just struggling with this. All those kinds of placating things.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he goes to strangle, and she's like, right, get out. Like, maybe just actually wait a second. You were fast asleep when you were strangling me, and I was struggling to wake you up while you were strangling me.
So it wasn't intentional.
And there's something seriously wrong here.
Yeah, there's something weird with this arm. This isn't you.
Know? So let's just kick you out. Let's get you help.
I feel like she was a bit torn though, because she was like, oh, but the sex is better.
The sex is better. Because funnily enough, the hand does start on her boob. And then it's like, and then it was almost like it made a decision. It was like,
go up or down.
Nah, strangle. Yeah. Let's just go straight for the throat.
We'll strangle this time.
Maybe the hand thought, we'll just see if she's into this.
We just said maybe the hand thought. This is the whole thing, isn't it?
But this is the whole thing. The hand's got thoughts.
Your hand isn't capable of thought. If my arm got chopped off, my arm's not then capable of thought. It's the brain that does the thought.
But there's one
so it's
part.
Ridiculous.
But there's one part in the movie where Bill actually says something like, we always thought the soul was in the head, in the mind, or the heart, or something. But what if it's all through you? What if it's every part of you? And so his summarizing of it is that the hand, because it's, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But then why would just killing Charlie properly get rid of that? If the soul's in the flesh.
That doesn't make sense either.
None
of it makes any sense.
None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else to do.
I did have the scene where he goes to the inmate a second time and instantly he's on about how he's got a little bit of the devil in him and all that. And then I was like, what? Are they trying to suggest that all psychopaths can identify each other? It's like, oh, there's an aura about you. You're a psychopath just like me. I'm like, nah. The person who wrote this isn't a psychologist, were they?
No.
They really weren't. I mean, don't get me wrong. I imagine if two psychopaths spent time with each other, they'd probably be like, oh, well, what's that old joke? The guy, the hitchhiker gets picked up by a guy, and the guy goes, I don't normally pick people up, because you don't know, I could be a serial killer or someone, or I could be a mother or something. And the hitchhiker goes, well, the odds are two. No, the hitchhiker says like, oh, thanks for stopping and picking me up, because a lot of people don't, because they think, I could be picking up a killer. And the person that's picked them up goes, well, the chance of two of us being killers is or whatever the joke is. I'm terrible at jokes, aren't I?
Yeah.
Here's a joke I'm just going to explain and ruin.
Yeah.
Not even tell it right. Oh dear. But yeah, that whole scene with the inmate was just like, oh, please let this be over. Please let this be over now. All right, so that leaves us with bad lines.
Oh, lines. So I had a couple of lines from when he goes to see the doctor after strangling his wife.
Yeah.
I think it was, I've written down on the notes, after he strangles his wife in his sleep, so I'm pretty sure he does go to the doctor after that.
Yeah.
And he says to her, the arm's good, just give it to someone else, give me a hook or something. And then a couple of lines later he says, this arm is killing me. And I'm like, is it though?
It's not though.
You slapped your son and it strangled your wife.
Yeah, it's not killing you.
And then the doctor's reaction to this is, the pain you're in just isn't that significant when I balance it against the importance of the experiment. So basically, that's what I'm saying earlier about she doesn't care who's suffering or how much. It's just, I want to do this experiment.
And you've just got to live with it.
I don't care how much I'm suffering. Get on with it. Just lump it, because I need to do this experiment. There's no sympathy whatsoever coming from her. It's just like, my experiment's more important actually. So
yeah. That's a good point. I've got a line like that. His wife says to him, you have this guy's arm, not his personality.
Yeah.
There was another line in the film that someone said, it's, what is it? It's, you're not doing...
The arm can't do anything you don't want it to.
Oh, was this one of yours?
I had that in my good...
Oh, have you? Oh, right, okay.
I was like...
Oh, okay, I can see why you put that in good, because it's a good bad line.
The whole premise of
good
the film
line.
is the arm has got a mind of its own.
Yeah.
And then the doctor's going, but the arm can't do anything you don't want it to.
Which
actually, it can, doctor, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
But technically the doctor's right.
It shouldn't be able to.
It shouldn't be able
What he's trying to tell her is, it is.
Yeah.
It has got a mind of its own. It is doing what it wants.
What would be worse than a serial killer? If you got the arm of someone, what would be worse than getting the arm of a serial killer? If memory lived on in the flesh, what would be worse than a serial killer? And wanting to kill people.
Well, I think anything like sexual assault would be worse, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Be worse?
I was
worse?
going to maybe try and go down a funny route, but thanks for dragging it down. I mean, that would be terrible. That would be terrible.
That would be awful.
There's definitely areas of terribleness, but I'm thinking,
A juggler or something.
Oh, maybe you got.
Constantly want to juggle things.
You got.
Oh,
Yeah,
for God's sake, I'm
yeah,
trying to
but
cook
you
dinner.
can only do it with one arm.
Now I'm juggling the onions.
You can only juggle one arm, and I
Yeah.
know you can juggle one-handed, but the arm doesn't realise it and keeps throwing it to your other
Yeah, the
arm,
other arm's like,
and
"What's
the
going
other
on?"
arm's like, oh, dropping the ball.
I know what it would be. It'd be
Go
something
on.
like a farmer or something where they've got to stick their hands up cows' bottoms and stuff like that.
You just can't get rid of that smell.
I don't want to keep
It's
doing
just-
this.
It's just every time you go past, oh look, Dad,
Fields,
cows.
yeah.
No.
Oh, right, the other way. Let's not go for a country drive again today. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be worse. I think that would be worse than a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I do have a bad line. I hate this line. When they said it,
Yeah.
I cringed so bad.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying this.
I
Actually.
hear this line so many times in many, many movies. It's always said by a man as
Yeah.
well. And the only time I've ever heard anyone say it, it is a man. And it's always someone that I don't like that says it.
Yeah.
Right?
But is it someone? But then do you dislike them because they've said it? Or did you
No,
dislike them
but
already?
it's always someone that I've never gotten on with. And I get on
Okay.
with I can get on with a lot of people, you
Yeah.
know. But there are people that just rub you up the wrong way in life.
Yeah.
And the only time I've ever heard this line said outside of a movie is by people that I don't like. Okay? And the line is, so Bill goes to see the guy to take his fingerprints.
Yes.
And he walks into the guy's office and the guy goes, "Hey Bill, what can I do you for?"
Yeah.
I hate it. What can
Doesn't
I
even
do
make any
you
sense,
for?
does it?
It's just, you can imagine him saying it to women as well. Like, what can I do you for?
Yeah.
Not, it's
a-
what can I do for you?
Yeah.
Not what can I do you for? And that's it's like a sexualization. But saying it to a guy is just like, this is like locker room talk. What can I do you for?
Yeah.
But but you know this if they're saying it to a woman, it's like what can I do you for? As in like sex work
Yeah.
is what they're meaning. But I hate the word. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
worst
also-
line, and it's always a go-to line in movies, and usually for a dickhead. But we don't know this guy. This guy's just a fingerprint guy. Why do we need to know he's a dickhead that says, "Hey, Bill, what can I do you for?" Oh,
But it's a
hate
bit
it.
like, it's a bit like. I'm sorry to Welsh people,
oh, I.
but I used to work with a Welsh girl, and I've watched Gavin and Stacey as well, and there's a lot of things in Gavin and Stacey they pick up on.
Aye.
So they'll say things like, "Whose coat's this jacket?" And it doesn't make any sense. It's like, is it a coat or a jacket? Or it's like, "I'll be there now in a minute."
Yeah.
I'll be there now in a minute. Are you there now or are you there in a minute? Doesn't make any sense. And there was another one that the girl I used to work with said to me, "Yeah, we say that all the time." And I was like, it's like, it does in Wales. If you're Welsh, it does completely make sense.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like that, and it's like, it's one or the other. You're not going to be there now in a minute. You're going to be there in a minute. Or you're there now. It can't be both.
And it's either a coat or a jacket.
Yeah.
There are distinct differences. I don't
Yeah.
know what they are, but there
Well,
are.
I'm sure if there's anybody Welsh listening, they'll be like, "No, it makes
But
total
yeah.
sense."
Yeah.
But it doesn't to anyone else.
But yeah, I hate the line. I hate it
Yeah.
with a passion, and I'm not gonna say it again because I just dislike it so much. Right. Okay. Well, do you have any more bad lines?
No more bad lines, no.
So I do have one very quick wild card to say
Okay.
as well. When this is a prop, by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
For a wild card prop, just because I need to say this, how bad it was. So when the doctor talks to the wife early on in the film, she hands the wife a consent form.
Yes.
Okay, for her to sign, and it just says at the top, "Special procedures."
No, it's really vague.
Just like
any special
any
procedure.
special
It could
procedure.
be anything.
You know, what is she signing off is like, if something happens while we're putting his right arm on and we have to attach his penis to his face, this is still a class of special procedure. What? Special procedures. It's just like, this is the document we're getting to sign when we don't know what the fuck we're talking about in the hospital. Please sign. It just made me chuckle so much. Here's this. You need to sign it now. Special procedure, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure it'd be a much bigger document than just a single page as well.
I thought so, yeah.
We are doing something...
There's a lot of terms and conditions in there.
Yeah. And there was so much kind of emphasis on speed and doing it quickly.
Yeah.
But, well, what happened with our basketball guy? Because Bill has gone through 4 months worth of therapy to then suddenly seeing the basketball guy still just starting therapy by the looks of it.
Yeah.
So where were the legs in that time? Why is there so much rush to get Bill's arm on?
Don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
There was no rhyme or reason.
There was no rhyme nor reason. But yeah, I just had to throw that wild card in there. Right. We need to score this movie because we've been an hour and 50 minutes.
Wow.
I've just really screwed up things there because I'll be editing this and it won't be an hour and 50 minutes, and also the intro's going to go on as well. So we're nearly at 2 hours here for this episode. Welcome to the new year. Bumper bonus episode. Happy New Year, everyone.
Don't expect this every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't expect this every time. What are you going to give this movie out of 5?
I think 2.
2 out of 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was really slow to get started.
Is that 2 arms out of 5 or 2 legs out of 5?
It's an arm and a leg.
It's an arm and a leg.
It's an arm and a severed head. It was really slow to get started.
Yes.
I was quite bored in the beginning, to be honest. And then I just felt like it could have delivered so much more. I felt like it had such potential. And,
yes.
And I feel like if you read a synopsis like that, you're just expecting this mad serial killer arm to be out on a killing spree. Mm-hmm. And we didn't get that. And I think they could have done some really good deaths. They could have made it a bit more humorous as well. I mean, you could have had fun with this movie, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could have had. Yeah, you could have.
So yeah, I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I think this movie in the hands of a different director or something could have been a lot more. Like someone like David Cronenberg, who did a lot of sort of body horror sort of films.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a very different movie. Or someone like Sam Raimi in charge from the Evil Dead movies.
Yeah.
Or, because he has experience of protagonists that lose his arms, but it would have been, there could have been so much more go on with it.
So yeah, I was disappointed, if I'm honest.
A possessed arm, something like that, could have done so much more.
Could have just gone on a killing rampage and it could have been more entertaining, more action, more deaths.
Yeah.
We didn't really get many deaths at all, did we? But the guy with the legs.
There were 4 deaths. 4 deaths in total.
And again, not spectacular deaths, but you could have done some...
I think the only spectacular one would have been the artist, Brad Dourif's character, being flying out the window. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you? What are you scoring it?
I think I'm going to go the same, 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
Actually, I think you hit the nail on the head. It could have been so much more than what it was. It could have been a much better premise movie. Because I just read as well, although it was based on a book, it was only loosely based on the book.
Oh, okay.
So they've taken liberties with it. They could have taken much more liberties.
Yeah.
Had him killing people with this arm, whatever. But yeah. And it only being, and him ultimately getting away with it because it was only the fingerprints of this hand.
Yeah.
And somehow by the end of the movie he loses the arm. And they can't prove that he had the arm. Who knows? I don't know. And they could have done anything with it. I think it gets a 2 out of 5, not a 1, because of some of the good stuff. Like the end, the car chase, car keepy-uppy scene was great. I think some of the acting was good by some of the cast.
That car keepy-uppy was a good stunt, but there was a hell of a lot of trucks in that, on that road.
So many trucks all of a sudden in a road late at night.
But that was quite a good little scene.
And so there were some things like that, but there was ultimately, I think, too much of the movie letting it down. Yeah. So would you recommend people to watch this?
I don't know if I would.
See, I was talking to my kids about it.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh my God, we need to watch this film."
Yeah, but because they're probably thinking the same as us, that it's going to be this killer arm that goes on a killing spree.
Yeah.
It's not.
And it's not. And that's the most upsetting thing about it.
Yeah.
It's a slow start.
It's disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's disappointing.
For what it could. I always think some of these movies have got such potential to be so much more, and they just don't do enough with it.
No, they don't. They don't. Well, that's us for another episode. Yeah. If you've seen Body Parts, or if you want to watch it after this, absolutely, we're not going to stop you. But let us know what you thought of it in social media posts, etc., etc. Contact us on Instagram, at ICBadMovies. But yeah, catch us there. And if you are interested, come and catch us over on
The Flip Side.
And where we're going to talk about all the good bits of the categories and any other wild cards that we want to throw in there as well.
Yeah.
And you'll tell we're recording at the same time, because you'll hear on the flip side Milo barking away as well.
I'm hoping that Milo's going to shut up.
Chill out in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, maybe we'll chloroform him.
I'm
but
sorry,
for the record, we're not going to chloroform the dog.
I'm just hoping that he snaps out of it, whatever this is.
Yeah. Yeah, fingers
I
crossed.
do apologise for all the barking this episode.
And it's not like we can't just go, we'll just stop recording, we'll come record another night, because that's impossible. So you'll just have to put up with Milo. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
But what can you do? This is live. No.
It's not
We're
live.
recording live, but in front of a live studio
Dog.
audience.
Live studio.
Right, anyway, bye everybody.
Bye.